I took these 3 vitamins for diabetes daily. My results in 2 weeks. I used to think vitamins were just those little chalky pills folks took when they caught a cold. But 2 weeks ago, I started something different. And I mean real different. I took 3 specific vitamins every morning, right after my coffee and before my walk. And by the grace of God, something shifted. My sugar readings, which have been dancing all over the place like squirrels on the porch, suddenly settled. I ain't no doctor, but even my own doc looked at the numbers and raised his eyebrows like he'd seen a miracle. And no, I didn't change my diet, didn't have fancy green smoothies, and I sure didn't join a gym. I just added these 3 helpers that most folks walk past at the store without a second glance. Now, before you think this is some magic bullet, it's not, but it's also not nonsense. I've lived 68 years on this earth, and I've learned one thing. Sometimes it's the small adjustments that bring the biggest blessings. These vitamins didn't cure me, but they gave me energy in the morning I hadn't felt in months. My feet weren't tingling as much. I wasn't napping after lunch like I used to. And the craziest part? My after-meal sugar didn't spike like it always did, especially after my Sunday pancakes. So I figured, why not share it with folks like me? Folks tired of guessing what really works and what's just marketing fluff. If you find this helpful, go ahead and share it with someone you care about. It might just be the small change they need. Number 3, vitamin B1 benfotiamine. The smell of bacon and eggs used to be the highlight of my mornings, until I started noticing something strange. After breakfast, my legs felt heavy, like I was dragging 2 sacks of flour through the house. Then came the tingling, like soda bubbles under my skin. My doctor called it nerve damage from high sugar, and I just nodded, not fully getting it. But one afternoon at church, a friend, retired nurse, whispered about something called benfotiamine. It's just vitamin B1, she said, but stronger. I figured, can't hurt to try. Turns out, benfotiamine isn't just any B1. It's like the upgraded pickup truck of vitamins. Gets into your cells faster, works harder, and sticks around longer. Regular B1 is water-soluble, meaning your body flushes most of it out. But benfotiamine, it actually reaches the nerve endings, where sugar tends to cause the most trouble. I ain't no scientist, but I read how this version helps reduce something called ages, those nasty compounds sugar leaves behind like rust on a tractor. That's when I started feeling less of that burning in my feet. Now I take it every morning with my coffee, right before reading the good word. No fancy rituals. Just 1 capsule, and I move on with my day. After 2 weeks, I noticed I wasn't waking up in the night to that pins and needles feeling. I could walk longer without needing to sit down. And more than anything, I felt a bit more in control. Not cured, but steadier, like driving on a smooth country road instead of bouncing down gravel. Funny thing is, benfotiamine's more popular in Europe than here. Over there, they've been using it for nerve problems since the 90s. Here in the States, we're just starting to catch on, maybe because it's cheap and not a big moneymaker. But sometimes the old remedies or forgotten ones are the ones that do the most good. I remember when garlic was considered just a seasoning. Now folks treat it like medicine. Maybe it's time we look at B1 the same way. Have you ever had that moment when you realize you've been putting up with pain for so long, you forgot what normal feels like? That's how it hit me. One evening I stood up from the recliner and didn't wince. No sharp sting. Just stood up like I used to. I actually paused and thanked God right there in the living room. Because sometimes healing doesn't come in fireworks. It comes in quiet victories. I keep benfotiamine in my kitchen cabinet now, right next to the cinnamon and the olive oil. Feels almost like an old friend at this point. I've even got my brother to try it, and he's the skeptical one in the family. Said his toes feel warmer now, and he doesn't trip as much walking to get the mail. For something so small, it sure has made a big ripple in our daily lives. I used to think nerve pain was just part of getting old, but this little capsule proved me wrong. And I thank the Lord for the day that nurse whispered it to me after service. Sometimes God puts the right people and the right answers right in your path. Number 2, vitamin D3. Back in Mississippi, we used to say the sun was God's medicine, and we weren't far off. When I was a kid, my grandma would shoo us outside, saying that sunlight heals your bones and your mood. But over the years, with air conditioning, TV, and all the scary news about skin cancer, I found myself staying inside more and more. Then one day at a regular checkup, my doctor said, "Your vitamin D is barely there." I was shocked. I live in a sunny place. But as we age, our skin just doesn't soak it up the way it used to, and that's when I started paying attention. Turns out, vitamin D3 doesn't just help with bones like we all thought. It plays a big role in how our body listens to insulin, kind of like adjusting the radio dial till the station comes in clear. When insulin works better, blood sugar doesn't spike as hard after meals. And another thing, D3 helps calm the body's hidden inflammation, that slow-burning fire inside that messes with everything from your memory to your mood. Nowadays, I keep a little bottle of D3 right next to the coffee pot. One small soft gel with warm water before my morning devotion. That's it. Nothing fancy. After 2 weeks, I felt lighter somehow, less tired in the afternoons, more patient with the grandkids, even more upbeat when the weather turned gray. My sugar readings after dinner? Not perfect, but steadier. That constant roller coaster feeling had eased up. It's funny how something so small can make such a difference. I later read that most older adults are low on D3 and don't even know it. And the thing is, you don't always feel the deficiency, not until it's fixed. It's like wiping fog off your glasses and suddenly realizing how hazy the world had gotten. You just thought that was normal. My grandson said the other day, "Grandpa, you're not falling asleep in the chair like you used to." And he's right. That sluggish feeling after lunch, like church service on a hot day, started to fade. I even noticed I wasn't craving sweets the way I used to. Somehow, my body started sending clearer signals again, like an old truck running smoother with the right oil. I thank the Lord I started paying attention to sunshine again, not just outside, but inside my body too. I now take 10 minutes most days to sit outside with my face in the sun, just enough to feel its warmth. But I still take my D3 supplement, because at my age, sunlight alone just isn't enough anymore. It's not about chasing youth. It's about honoring this body God gave us, while we still can. I used to think vitamins were just extras, like pickles on a sandwich. Now I see some of them are essentials, quiet helpers behind the scenes. And D3? It's one I'll never skip again. Thank God for small things that make a big difference. Number 1, magnesium. I used to think magnesium was just something in antacids or muscle creams. Never once did I stop and ask, am I getting enough of this stuff? But the more I read about it, especially how it connects to blood sugar, the more I realized I was missing out. Nearly half of folks over 60 in the U.S. aren't getting enough magnesium, especially if they're dealing with diabetes. And nobody's telling us this at the doctor's office. It kind of made me mad. Honestly, why isn't this common knowledge? Turns out, magnesium helps your body move sugar out of the blood and into the cells, where it gets used for energy. If your magnesium is low, insulin can knock on the door all day long, but the cells just won't open. That's when your sugar stays high and you feel wiped out after eating, like your engine's running with bad gas. When I started supplementing with magnesium glycinate, I noticed my numbers after meals weren't jumping around so much. And that foggy-headed feeling I used to get around 2 p.m., gone. The first sign it was working came one night when I didn't wake up with that awful leg cramp. If you've had one, you know, like a snake wrapped around your calf. I'd jump out of bed like I'd stepped on a bee. But after a few days on magnesium, the cramps eased off. My hands stopped stiffening after working in the garden. Even my sleep got better, deeper, steadier. I started waking up without that sluggish, achy feeling that used to follow me like a shadow. Funny thing is, magnesium is in all kinds of foods, spinach, pumpkin seeds, even dark chocolate. But let's be honest, most of us aren't eating handfuls of pumpkin seeds in our 60s. That's why the supplement made sense for me. One little pill with dinner. That's it. No need for trendy smoothies or expensive powders. Just a simple habit added to the evening routine, like saying grace before supper. I remember when my buddy Frank laughed and said, "Magnesium? That's for athletes." I told him, It's for folks like us who are tired of feeling 10 years older than we are. A week later, he called and said he hadn't felt this calm and regular in months. Regular, if you know what I mean. Magnesium helps with that too. And let me tell you, not straining in the morning is a blessing you don't appreciate until it's gone. What I love most is how quiet the benefits are. It's not like caffeine, where you feel a jolt. It's more like your body remembering how to function right. Your sugar doesn't spike, your sleep improves, your stress feels manageable. For me, it's been a gentle return to balance, something I didn't even know I had lost. And honestly, it gave me more confidence to keep walking daily, knowing my legs weren't going to give out mid-route. Since starting magnesium, I've learned to listen more closely to my body. It doesn't shout, it whispers. And sometimes, all it needs is a little mineral we've been overlooking for years. I thank God I found this out when I did, before things got worse. Sometimes the answer isn't another prescription. Sometimes it's a simple nutrient that makes everything else start to work again. Looking back, I never thought something as small as a few vitamins could make this kind of difference. I didn't change my whole life. I didn't give up everything I love. I just added 3 small pieces to the puzzle, and they helped my body find its rhythm again. My blood sugar isn't perfect, but it's steadier. I'm sleeping better. My legs feel stronger, and I've got more patience in the tank. Something that's worth gold when you've got grandkids running around. And all of that came from paying attention to the small things. Now, let me be clear. I'm not saying vitamins are a cure for diabetes. They're not. What they can be, though, is support, a bit of help for a body that's been working hard for 6, 7 decades. Sometimes, we just need a little push in the right direction. And when that push comes without side effects or sky-high prices, it's worth sharing. That's why I made this video, not to preach, but to pass along something that worked for me, just like an old neighbor might. Have you ever felt like your health was slipping one small thing at a time? Like your body was trying to send you a message, but the words were too quiet to understand? That's how I felt before I started this. But these past 2 weeks reminded me, it's never too late to feel a bit stronger, a bit steadier, even after 60. That feeling of having more control over your day, that's not gone. It's just been waiting for you to reach out and take it back before starting any new vitamin or supplement, especially if you're already on medications. Talk to your doctor or healthcare provider. I'm not a medical expert. I'm just a grateful man sharing his experience. What worked for me might be a good fit for you too, or it might need a little adjusting. Either way, take it slow, stay informed, and don't be afraid to ask questions. Your health is worth the time. So here's my prayer. May your days be steady, your sleep be deep, and your blood sugar behave like a good Sunday sermon, calm, clear, and without surprises. Take care of yourselves, and God bless y'all.